Welcome to one of the largest used clothing markets in the world. It's estimated that Ghana's Kantamanto market handles more than 15 million garments every week. The used clothes arrive from around the world. Many started out as donations. About 30,000 people work here. These days, they struggle to make a living from cheaply made fast fashion brands. More than a third of everything that enters Kantamanto leaves as waste. It ends up in landfills and on beaches.
So what we believe is that what you're seeing is a sliver of what is actually lying on the ocean floor.
Now, Ghana's capital is drowning in other people's used clothes. So how do the clothes end up here? And why do so much of the leftovers become worldwide waste? Around 100 shipping containers filled with millions of garments arrive at the market every week. They arrive in these bales that can weigh up to 125 pounds. Head porters walk up to 10 miles on their busiest days, carrying bales from the containers to the stalls. Retailers buy bales for anywhere from $100 to $300 without knowing exactly what's inside. Jeanette Chirwa started selling clothes 12 years ago by the side of the road and saved enough money to rent her own shop in the market. Jeanette usually tries to sell the contents of one bale before buying another. Then, it's a race against time to move the inventory and try to make her money back. The good stuff can sell for about 10 cedis. That's about $1.60 a piece. Items made with cheaper fabric or that have rips go for 16 cents. Jeanette says prices of the bales increase every month, even though the quality of the clothes has declined. So most weeks, she can't sell everything from her bales. She's often in debt. Sometimes, the money she makes barely covers a week's expenses. Jeanette also partners with tailors like Nana to fix tears or resize a garment for a customer. She pays Nana 16 cents for repairing the tear in her blouse. Other tailors buff shoes to change their color, or dye and starch denim jeans to make them look like new. In another area, workers steam press garments before they go on display.
You see the way I'm squeezing my face? The fire burns me.
They use coal to heat their irons, then smooth a wet cloth over the garment to create steam.
Sear it. It comes smooth.
The market is flooded with cheap garments from so-called fast fashion brands like Marks & Spencer and Zara. So every day, many of the clothes that don't sell are dumped in Old Fatima. It's a small community with a big landfill. Some piles of trash tower over 30 feet, taller than some buildings around here.
Like, they were only probably more moton yama or money maybe on the two. So, Subit Mabu Yamano Sano. So, normally I bet to.
The dump is a breeding ground for mosquitoes that spread malaria, and the water can spread cholera.
Cloth is soak waters, so we just put some dust on top so that we should be able to step on top.
And what doesn't go to landfill often ends up at beaches like this one, a mile away from Contamonto.
They're very degraded.
Today, activists are tracking how clothing waste washes out to sea.
So a lot of the clothing waste from Contamonto will basically be swept into the open gutter system, and then it'll tangle around itself. It contributes to flooding, which then causes a public health crisis. And eventually, though, it will be pushed out to sea, and it'll make its way to the bottom of the ocean.
Liz Ricketts is the co-founder of the OR Foundation, a charity based in the US and Ghana. It brings attention to Accra as one end of a wasteful supply chain. This team is measuring what they call tentacles, long tangles of fabric and sand. They found over 350 piles of clothing along the coast in just the first 2 months of doing this work.
Second-hand clothing market is not a bad thing, but then I can see that it is causing much damage at our beaches.
The most common brands found on the beach so far: Marks & Spencer, Next, H&M, Nike, and Gildan.
This is very bad. Clothing is literally looks like a rock and is being walked on top of as if it's part of the natural landscape. And it's devastating to see.
So how do donated clothes end up here? Americans often donate clothes to charities like Goodwill or Salvation Army that later sell those in their stores for a low price. But not everything sells. So donation centers turn to exporters like Bank & Vogue.
Our business is very much like cleaning up the beer cans at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Stephen Bethel sells clothes from the US, Canada, and Europe to 27 countries around the world. He sells shipping containers filled with clothes to what's known as a grading facility. Graders in places like Pakistan sort millions of pieces of used clothing into hundreds of categories.
Ladies' tops for the office, lady tops for casual, ladies' jeans, men's jeans, children's clothes, skirts, ladies' shorts, men's shorts, lingerie, pajamas. Corduroys is its own category.
The most valuable item? Women's bras.
If you're at home and you're looking at your bra and you think, oh, the wire is sticking out or this isn't right, donate your bras. There's never enough used bras.
Graders are supposed to weed out items no one will buy, but those low-quality clothes can slip through the cracks and end up in Contamonto anyways.
We were visiting with a retailer to study the material content of the waste, and we found that over 90% of the bale that she had purchased just 2 days before was completely stained. The stain smelled in some places and was sticky in some places. So she was only able to salvage like less than 20 items from that entire bale.
Liz says more than a third of the clothes at Contamonto go to waste. But her organization is trying to do something about it.
Welcome to our lab space. It says no more Man Capital fast fashion. The business that was here before was called Man Capital.
The OR Foundation recently built a lab here to figure out how to recycle clothing waste. Retailers like Jeanette are learning how to shred unsold clothes to sell as insulation for mattresses and furniture. But shredding is a last resort because it doesn't turn a large profit. Head porters can also learn how to sew here, gaining skills that help them leave the dangerous work of carrying bales on their heads. So Abiba Adam Ayesha has been working with the foundation since April 2021.
We need help, serious help, for us to live on this situation, to have our peace. But we don't have peace.
For Liz, the issue is much bigger than just Contamonto. She wants to hold the global fashion industry accountable for creating this mess.
Our goal with this work has never been to cancel the secondhand clothing trade. It has been to make it better. And for us, this is all about the root problem, which is overproduction, overconsumption of fast fashion in the global north.
One tool to do that could be the law. The European Union, the United Kingdom, and parts of the US are considering laws that would make fashion brands fund clothing recycling. So far, France and Sweden are the only countries to pass what are known as extended producer responsibility laws for the textile industry. It's nearly impossible to eliminate clothing waste, but Liz thinks the global north could learn from Accra's secondhand market.
If we had a version of this in our malls and buy our clothes, and then next door there was a tailor or seamstress who could alter it, we wouldn't be producing so much waste.
And for consumers, the solution is even simpler. Buy less.